I am Spegtacular, and I'm here with the world famous coin guy in Spring Hill, Florida.
How you doing, guys?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, I've decided that the other Tom isn't going to play me in the movie.
Okay.
I've got a new Tom that can play me.
Who is
He's recently won an award. I think it was in football.
You gotta help me. Who is it?
Tom Brady.
Oh, Tom Brady. Okay.
He could play me in the movie.
Tom Brady. He did pretty good recently, Tom
Yeah,
Brady?
he did pretty good.
Okay, good.
You know, poor guy, ugly wife. But, you know, I got some interesting things to talk about. We're going to jump around about some other things. I want to talk about the zombie apocalypse later. Colleague of mine said no, but zombie apocalypse doesn't mean you're going to have a bunch of people walking around with a katana cutting off people's heads. It's hyperinflation, collapse of society, and I believe that could happen. But first, let's start with more fun stuff.
Let's talk about coins and paper
Errors.
money.
I got some interesting errors of mine that I brought in that I'm at a point now where some of these pieces I'm looking to move. Here we have a silver certificate. What makes this one special is 2 different serial numbers, and it's certified.
Oh yeah, so the first number here is 3, and then you go 4. So
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool kind of error. See, these are the kind of errors I like. I mean, I've seen where people will come in and they're going to show me, well, do you see the tip of this coin? Or, you know, I've got a 1958 penny and one of the circles of the 8 is filled in. That's this kind of stuff. And even these are a little bit better than what I'm saying. I mean, I have people call me all the time and tell me that everything is worth $4,000. This is more realistic, but this is the really cooler stuff.
Let me see some of these here. So you got a 55.5 die break.
Yeah, well, this is the poor man's.
Multi, huh?
This is the poor man's double die.
Let's see the poor man's.
The 55/5. It's, you know, it's just a slight machine doubling rather than a double die. But a lot of people will use these in the spot in the albums.
Now, the 55, the legit one, were those only given to like certain people? Is that how it was? Those weren't meant for all the public to get.
It was just an error. I think they think there's about 20,000 were made.
Okay.
It was just the machine started doubling them. And, you know, I don't know exactly what the rate is, but, you know, maybe 20,000 was a machine ran for an hour, you know, and it just threw out a whole bunch of mistakes. And they didn't bother to get them, and it's world famous. But you got to be careful with the 55. I mean, half the 55 out there that I've seen are counterfeits. You really want to get a 55 slab.
Yeah, we can get a better look at these like this with the light. So this is 55S multi-errors. .N9. So, oh, I see the glob. Yeah, and the 5 too.
Yep. I mean,
Yep,
some of them have these I kept. These came out of my own stuff. I had these in my safe for 20 years. It's just some stuff I'm cleaning up, and these are just, you know, these are interesting. They're more than just, they're a little more than minor, but they're still not really a big deal.
Fascinating.
You want to get to big deal, you got stuff like the dollar bill. And this one caught my eye the other day. I saw this in Coin World about the penny on the dime planchet. Here's mine.
Penny on a dime planchet. So
This is a variety.
this is dime metal.
It's dime metal that was in the machine, and they were putting penny planchet, and somehow the dime got in, will fit in the holder. It'll fit in the collar, and it's very possible, you know.
2.3 grams. So how much is a cent supposed to weigh?
In these days,
82, yeah.
yeah, 3.1.
So a little bit heavier. Oops. It's amazing condition too.
Yeah, well, it's a nice hunk. This one, I was shocked. It was like $5,000. Yeah, 50, was it 55, 20?
Yeah, 55.20.
But this is a proof, but mine's a higher grade. But it's, you know, this is a comparable price to the coin. This is a variety. It's, you know, the 82 small.
To clarify, this stuff is for sale, or this is your personal collection?
No, this is for sale.
Okay, so people could buy this.
This was out of my personal collection.
You took them out.
Yeah.
How come you did that?
Yeah, I'm getting older. Some pieces I'm not as attached to as others. And it was time, I just felt.
Yeah.
Here's a piece I've already sold. The person traded me for this. This one's got a really cool, look at the clash marks, or doubling, right in the middle there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't miss that.
No.
And I think that this one is
That's wild.
undergraded. I think this is an older holder, and I think this will come back a 55.
I know
This is
everybody's going
only
to
a
see
50.
this. This is a 50.
Mm-hmm.
Triple
That's a
clash.
PQ.
That's beautiful. $9.99.
Now here you have a rarer coin. This is a reeded edge 37 half dollar. This is what they call an R6. AU55. I think it's an 8, but this is a 35-year-old holder. I mean, look at the condition of that coin.
Yep.
And the error on this coin is that in America, the C is upside down. It's the inverted C. It's a known variety. It's what they call an R6, less than 30 known. We really had to do some digging to find the last one sold. I bought this coin 25 years ago.
So right there in America.
Yep, right here.
Wow.
And it's upside down. 30, less than 30 known, which means maybe as many as 50. But that's not a lot, and this is a very popular. It's a short set to reeded edge. The last one we saw sold 2 years ago at auction for $4,000, but it was like an Unk 60. This is close. That price is not unreasonable for a coin with probably 50 less known. I mean, it's a pretty cool, interesting kind of coin. And then you have the more common, you know, the more common ones, as I said here.
Error coins are fascinating, and sometimes with the, I mean, like the newer coins, they're finding new errors all the time, and they're going back to older coins, finding new errors, new varieties. It's really a neat thing to collect.
Yeah, well, you've got the other errors. One of the other more famous ones is in the half dollars, where you don't have the initials. Here you go. No FGs.
The bottom two here?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, no FG initial, missing FG.
I get a lot of phone calls on these, and they want to sell them to me all the time. I don't know. I've had those in there quite a while. I was reading something on them, and I figured those are reasonably priced. That's an interesting area. It's easy to spot, you know, and that's fair enough.
Yeah, I love error coins. I love seeing just the different things that are out there, things that nobody knew about for years, and all of a sudden they find a new variety or new error. So cool.
Yeah,
So cool.
but there's, but like I said, like mine over there, those are the kind of error coins I get, that I keep, that are the more in-your-face ones. And that's what I have as far as the errors I brought in, my own personal ones that are available. But this one I already traded, trading that for half an ounce of gold.
So don't ask for that one.
Don't ask for that one.
Yeah.
That one the person just wants. It's got some pretty colors. You know, iridescence.
Pretty cool.
This is an older holder, the thicker holder.
It's pretty neat to be able to trade silver for gold, isn't it?
Yeah, those were the days. Yeah, here you go, 196. I've had this coin 25 years.
Crazy. Speaking of silver and gold, so today is Friday, and silver and gold took a bit of a hit in the the world today. Yeah.
Gold was down. Let's see, where are we? Gold dropped to $38.
Dropped down $38. It was down what, almost 50 at one point, but it came back up.
It was down quite a bit. And silver dropped over $1 at one point, and it's recovered. I think it's only down 95 cents right now.
What is this thing?
Look at my new machine.
What is that?
This one tells me right away. Gold's down 37, and silver's down 82. That was $1.16 at one time.
Yeah.
You got silver 26.60, but that doesn't reflect what people are getting out there. I mean, it's a madhouse for silver and gold right now. I get 10 phone calls a day. I mean, gold, the same thing. Everybody wants to buy gold eagles. I want to buy gold eagles. I mean, I'm looking to put more away. I've taken out a couple of hundred of my own peace dollars of my own stash just to have some for customers, and I want to replace it with some more coins. And as they come, I'm just wait to get a big collection one day and that'll be there, but I want to have something for customers. A colleague of mine did a video with Spegtacular last week, and he showed a lot of gold and silver out there, and we were, and he saw the kind of volume people were buying, and and he's right as far as you don't bet the house. You don't spend all the money in the world on it. It's there in case things get crazy or dicey. And when you look at the way the world is, it leads to fear and loss of confidence. And that's when people use terms like zombie apocalypse. Like I said, they're not talking about walking around cutting people's heads off. It's when you have a loss of confidence in the value of money. And if you've been looking at the price of money on the exchange, the price of pounds to dollars, euros to dollars, the Canadian dollar is up to 80 cents. It was 75 cents 2 months ago. Now it's 80 cents. We're losing, the US dollar is losing viability, and it's weakening. And that's part of the reason. A lot of money has gone into Bitcoins, which is a whole nother ball of wax. I had another dealer in here who films with Spegtacular also. We discussed it. We didn't really argue. We discussed it. But he's of a different age. He's the same age as my son. He's late 30s, I think. And he's telling me, you buy the Bitcoin, you don't understand. I said, I don't understand. You've got a coin that they have 21 million made. They're never going to make any more. Who says? Who says they're not going to make any more? Why can't Milton Bradley say monopoly money's real now?
Yeah.
It's the same idea. Who backs the Bitcoin? Is it guaranteed by the Swiss government, the US government? It's an enigma. To me, it can change at any time. I think they're pulling the biggest scam that the world has ever seen. And I think a lot of that money is pulled out of gold. Gold should be over at 2,300. When you look at the world events, the way things are going, and the confidence and what people see out there, it's scary. I've had, in past videos, I've talked about how I think 8 to 12% of the people who can afford to buy gold and silver are actually buying gold and silver. And I'm not talking about people who live hand to mouth. I'm talking about people who can actually have the, dispersing the cash, the discretionary money to do that. I think that number's moved to 20% in the last 4 months.
Wow.
I'm getting a lot of new people in here, and I said I get 10 phone calls a day. I'm not a bullion seller. I get bullion. It's when I have it, it's available. I sell it. I get Eagles. I sell it. I don't stock it. I don't have 4 monster boxes. I've had 2 at times, but it depends on what I buy. But if you need a 1913S penny, I got it. 1910S, check our website. I'm a rare coin dealer. That's what I do.
You're the coin guy.
I'm coin guy. And you're going to find things like that. Well, give me a call. Bring me in something. I love to hunt. I like to look to see, what you're looking for. But as far as, like I say, zombie apocalypse is this. Everybody's heard of the 100 trillion note. Here's a 50 trillion. The 100 trillion note. That's hyperinflation. That's the collapse of money. I was looking for a book I had, but I looked too late for it. But I know I have pieces here. Hyperinflation is when your money... Okay, now this is a legitimate German note. 1,000 marks. 1910. Okay?
Okay.
1910 legitimate note. Now in 1910, the exchange rate to US dollars to marks was 4 to 1. This is basically $250, which was a serious amount of money. In 1910, maybe the average person made $250 a year. This is a lot of money, okay? That's a lot of money. And then you had World War I. Now, in 1914, where World War I started, Germany was arguably one of the most powerful countries in the world. Technologically, militarily, again in 1939 when it started World War II again. with the invasion of Poland and such. But in 1914, it was a very big and powerful country. And it was just ahead of everybody. They lost World War I. What happens in those days, when you lose the war, you got to pay reparations. And I think I've told this story before. I know I've talked about this with the Great American Teach-In. You pay reparations. Well, Europe took all the gold, and the United States got the silver, is what I've read. And with that silver, hey, what are we going to do with all this silver? They decided that's when they started making the peace dollar. And it's about the world was at peace and the economy was taking off. And they used all that silver to make the peace dollars. But what happened was, you've taken all the gold and silver out of a country. Well, what backs your paper? You know, what do you have behind your paper to show it has value?
We had gold at one point.
Yep. Now, does this look familiar?
Not anymore.
Here's a $10,000 note. These are 1922, 1923.
Wow.
What happened is you started getting inflation. Once again, there's 1,000, here's 100. Back when they were really worth that kind of money.
They're beautiful notes.
Yeah, they made them prettier. But as things got worse, they only printed on one side.
Oh, yeah?
And they got much smaller. They got to be this. I have a $200 billion note at home that's like this. Well, that's comparable to this. This is 50 trillion. There were 100 trillions. And these are bundles of 100 trillion notes.
Tons.
See, I don't know how many quadrillions. Here's 50,000 marks.
For a nice loaf
See how
of
it's
bread.
already getting smaller?
Yep.
I mean, you know, here's 20,000.
It's like we're running out of bank here.
And that's when hyperinflation starts to happen. And that's what I'm talking about in apocalypse. You're talking about, everything becomes desolate. Everybody's walking around wearing rags, basically. And that's why people buy gold and silver. That's what they mean by zombie apocalypse.
Well, hold on a second, because hyperinflation could never happen to the United States, right?
Well, we're running the presses day and night. Who's to say it couldn't? As I said, in Germany, they wouldn't have believed it could happen. It's happened recently in Argentina and Brazil. You would have had hyperinflation in Italy back a few years ago if they weren't in the euro. But try and buy a piece of gold in Italy back around 5 years ago when you couldn't find them for love nor money. I mean, everybody was in paper, and they did there where you were only allowed to cash in. I think it was $66 a day was all you were allowed to take out of the bank, not cash in. You're only allowed to take $66 a day out of your accounts.
Jeez.
It was crazy stuff, but that's the scary, scary stuff. And that's, it isn't that, you won't be able to go to Walmart or something like that. Those stores might be open, but I remember when Blockbuster was a big deal. Where are they now? Look at Sears. I mean,
Yeah,
I
Sears
remember
gone.
when Sears was on the blue chip 30,
Yep.
Now where is it?
Yeah.
I mean, you never say never. The Roman Empire collapsed from within once. It's when you have fear and you lose confidence in the government that, your government. And that's what people are fearful. I've got a lot of older people coming in here looking to buy gold and silver. And I just don't have it available. It's
Everybody
only a
wants it.
limited amount.
Yeah.
And the numbers are getting stupid.
Yep.
I mean, the people are paying 10% over melt to get gold. Is that crazy? I get phone calls, should I do it? Well, I think it could settle down where you got gold dropped about $50 in the last 2 days. But then again, the premiums are still staying high. If gold goes up and the premiums go up with it, then it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
It's like I tell people about silver. I think, recently they tried a silver run. They had the whole thing with Game Boy, Game something or other?
Stop.
GameStop. And they tried to do silver. That lasted about, 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah,
But
okay.
see, a lot of people are long silver. That means they're betting on silver to be in the 30s. But it's a funny kind of thing because the Morgan Stanleys, and I read about this years ago, financial advisors had told me the same thing. The whole silver market is fixed. The big boys control it. They buy and sell it whenever they need money for Buffy's education or whatever it may be. I believe that's totally true. And they don't like the little people getting it. But the numbers are always geared to silver being higher. So everybody's betting on silver higher. So with the silver going up, they couldn't do it. There was just too many buyers to take it all up. And I guess they couldn't get product. I don't know, but it didn't work. What I said they should have did was go after copper. And you know what? The other day I'm looking at copper the last 2 weeks, and copper just hit, what, $4.30 yesterday?
Yeah.
$4.30 copper. I'm saying, wait a minute. Nathan, take a look on, I tell Nate, get on a machine that I don't use and see what the price of copper was last March. Last March, copper was $2.17 at one time.
Yeah.
$2.17. Now it's $4.30.
Crazy.
What? That's insane. It's like, well, how many pennies? It's when I sell wheat pennies. Usually I buy them by weight. There's about 140 wheat pennies to a pound. And that's how you count them. I don't have a counting machine, and I just weigh them out. It's nice and easy and it's fast to do it that way. Well, here's something we can do, too.
Let's do something. So kind of interesting that it would double being one of the most abundant metals.
Somebody's trying to make a run on copper?
What's going on here?
Exactly. Now we go mold. Let's see. Ounces. Okay.
So now these were at one point worth 1 cent.
Yes.
Hope you got one little straggler there.
This is over a pound.
Oh, we gotta take them out. And people see that price on copper, like on the all the charts and everything on copper. That's by the pound. Whereas you have like gold and silver that measures by the ounce, platinum the same thing.
Troy ounce. Yep.
Right, troy ounce. You have a troy pound for copper.
Exactly. Now this is a pound. This is a pound of pennies.
Pound of pennies.
So now you go, and I think it's probably around the same. I'm going to guess it's probably somewhere around 140 to the pound. Let's see. The point I'm making is that when copper is where it is now, does it pay to start selling copper? Copper's worth how much more per pound? How many pennies are in a pound? I think there's, as I said, I think there's about 140. Well, if 140 pennies are in a pound and copper is at 4.20 or 4.30, that means every one of these pennies is worth 3 cents and melt.
That's crazy.
But that's the science of it. I mean, it's...
I'm gonna let you do this, and then we'll find out how many's in there afterwards.
Okay.
45, you said?
145 pennies in a pound. That's still approximately 3 times, at 3 cents each, you'd have $4.35.
So those people that were holding on to their pennies and their cents, they weren't as crazy as people made them out to be.
Exactly. But the point is, at what point are we going to start melting the pennies?
Well, now, it is illegal to melt pennies and nickels,
Yeah,
right?
I've checked with the smelters. They won't take the pennies. I have 100,000 right here. This is all pre-81s. Or pre-82.
And you got
because
plenty
the
more than
82 is a transition year.
Yeah.
I don't bother with it. These are all pre-80, 81 and down in copper. And I have about 100,000 of them. So if I've got $1,000 face, that's $3,000.
Yeah.
And I've just been, lackadaisically just putting them on the side. It's not that I go out of my way. It's what comes over the counter. Hey, this is a roll of this, a roll of that. I throw them in there.
I'm
And then
guilty
they
of holding
become
them.
bags and they just keep going on.
I do the same thing.
I mean, but it's something that when you look at the copper and saying, hey, haven't they told anybody? Are they making a run on copper and the big boys ain't telling us?
Yeah.
Hey, it's $4.30. Europe is in a recession. China, you've got England's locked down. A lot of places are still locked down. So where's all this copper going?
Yeah, it's funny that you brought it up because I keep on mentioning copper once in a while, because that's the metal nobody thinks about because it's so cheap. It's by the pound instead of by the ounce is what they measure the value by.
Copper is in everything now. When you look at the solar energy and all the other new energies, all of the clean energies they're looking to put out here. It's interesting when you look what happened in Texas recently. I find it interesting when their wind turbines froze up. Sad. What do you do for power now?
Yeah.
What do? You light a fire with wood underneath it to to get it going again, to heat up the oils or the whatever it is that stopped it? I don't know. What does it take to build one wind turbine? I have no problem using that technology, but to use that as your only technology, not in the world we have. It's just not going to be sufficient. I read somewhere also 500 tons of material to make the concrete, to make the steel, to build one wind turbine. You got to move a mountain to make one wind turbine.
I didn't know that.
Well, it is. It's huge numbers of raw material to produce one wind turbine.
Huh.
I mean, that's, we're getting off the course a little, but that's energy. It's part of what we use. The price of copper. Well, you're looking at all the solar things. Somebody was telling me, and we start to look into it. They're talking about graphite. They have these mines that use graphite, and they're making batteries with graphite batteries.
Yeah.
And the wife was looking up some of that for me. I have one of my clients who told me about it. He said his stuff is up 500%. He's been buying into these graphite mines. The batteries will go 1,000 miles instead of 400, and they charge in 15 minutes. I don't know if that's totally true, but I think that's really interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's more of a way to go, but I still don't see you replacing nuclear. You're stopping the oil pipelines. You're no coal. You're putting tens of thousands of people out of work. That adds to unemployment. I mean, some of those towns, I'll bet you some of those towns in South Dakota, southern Canada, wherever they got those oil pipelines, they're going to look like zombie land.
I bet.
Everybody's gone. Things are boarded up. Everybody went home.
Yeah, no work.
No work. I mean, all these people. But as I said, that's why, when you're saying nothing could happen, don't believe that. The world civilizations have come and gone. And I hope we're here for a long time, but I'm not too confident. I'm sorry, I'm not too confident. I'm fearful.
Yeah.
I'm fearful along with a lot of people. They see what's going on. They ignore what's happening. It's the old story about what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But, you look at the things in Wuhan where all of a sudden now it's become a proclamation. And I hate to get into politics, but it's important. And I have a vested interest. I almost died from that virus. And I blame the Chinese for it. I do. That's it. Come get me, Biden. All of that leads to confidence in a country and leads to the strength of your dollar. As we see the dollar, and I'm not a financial wizard, but then I watch these financial wizards. I watch the guys that's supposed to be experts on medicine, where don't wear a mask, wear 3 masks. These things they don't really know what they're doing. They're all trying to guess at it.
Sure.
I
totally agree with that.
That's what we have. Any questions?
I have a comment, and then let's go to some questions. First of all, you mentioned Bitcoin. I want to circle back real quick. Circle back to the Bitcoin. So Elon Musk, as you know, bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin.
Okay.
Not Elon Musk, but his company, Tesla, right?
Yeah.
So, he's wants to get in on it. A lot of people found that to be really exciting. But what they didn't really want to talk about too much is how Elon Musk also said that he finds, now that he has a $1.5 billion worth of this stuff, which is actually worth less now, no big deal, the price came way down on Bitcoin. But he actually said that he finds Bitcoin to be about as valuable as fiat currency, maybe a little bit more valuable, slightly.
Yeah.
That's
what
what
does that tell you?
That's what he thinks about it.
You know what I find interesting? He bought $1.5 billion, and at the settle of the next day, he had made $1 billion on it.
Yeah.
So if he turned around and sold it, he'd have made $1 billion, made more money on Bitcoin than he did all year on his Tesla automobiles.
Right.
It's the rich people maybe hyping it.
Yep.
That's the kind of stuff you got to look at. As I said, this to me is like selling the Brooklyn Bridge. I've had people explain to me, no, it doesn't work like that. I think that's what's depressing the price of gold and silver. The money's going into that. And I'm afraid that you're going to wake up one day and the government is going to say, hey, let's start regulating this.
No.
Yeah.
That's what people don't want.
What happens when certain groups decide to break into a bank and they steal $100 billion worth of, $50 billion in Bitcoins? I'll bet you none of that is Nancy Pelosi's money that got stolen. You know, it's like the little guy is going to be the one who gets screwed at the end.
Yeah.
That's what I just, to me, you know, I'm of a different generation. I want to hold my money. I want to see it. I think it's an enigma. I just really do.
It's really weird. I mean, I've bought a little bit of it just to see how it works. And then people are like, oh, well, you know, Big Brother, the bank's not involved. But they still take fees when you buy and sell it.
It's funny.
When you withdraw the money, there's fees.
I heard somebody, if you order a slice of pizza, it costs you $7 to use a Bitcoin. Somebody was saying that on news.
There's fees all over the place, so it's kind of weird, you know, that, and you need a place online to have your wallet, so it's not like it's in your hand or in your back pocket.
You hear about the guy who lost his number, and he couldn't get $220 million is out there somewhere.
Stuck. Oops.
I mean, as I said, it's not. We were offered Bitcoins many years ago when it was about $400, and maybe I should have took $2,000 worth of Bitcoins, 4 or 5 pieces.
Yeah.
But see, I'm not the kind that when it hit 5,000, I would have sold it.
Me too.
I wouldn't have held in there to 57,000.
Right.
Once again, it's not. It certainly isn't for the faint of heart.
No.
And you like I said, you go get a cup of coffee and sit down and you drop $2,300. Holy cow!
Well, so I think it was last week. In fact, yes, exactly last week. I'm watching the thing, and I'm watching it climb to $59,000, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. You know, this digital currency is $59,000. That almost within a 24-hour period, it came down $14,000 from that price.
I looked about an hour ago. It's at 47,000 right now.
It's like
it's 12 grand.
It's great when people promote it at the 45,000 and it rises to 59,000. But what about those people that are stuck holding it at 59,000? Now have lost that kind of money. You know what I mean?
And like I said,
and that has to happen.
And like I said at the beginning, who backs this? How is it? They talk about chains or things of that. I don't really know the terminology used. I'm saying who backs it. U.S. dollar backed by the strength of the government of the United States. The euro is backed by euro. Gold has spoken for itself for 5,000 years. That's just who I am. I like the gold. Yep. And like I said, I get many people in this store who say the same thing. Once again, that's just the crowd, but they're saying, what is Bitcoin? I don't know. To me, it's an enigma.
Yeah.
And I really feel that one day there's going to be a reckoning, and you're going to have all these people with nothing.
Yep.
You know, I don't know. Next question.
Can we talk about some of your older coins and stuff you have in here? And first of all, I think I've talked to you about this. I don't know if I've actually talked about this on the video, though. What is your favorite coin?
I like the bust dollars, bust halves.
Do you have any of those?
Not, they're part of them. Like that 1813 was one of mine.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I had this coin 25 years. These were from my own collection.
So these are your favorite?
Some of them. I've got 1794 halves, 1795s.
As a coin collector, why does this appeal to you?
I just like the old money. The thing that many collectors will tell you when they hold an old coin, even though these are in plastic, and the old timers 35 years ago told me, this will never work. Because as a collector, we want to feel the money. Mm-hmm. We want to be connected to the cowboy that used us on the bar top and said, hey, Wyatt, you pay for this round of drinks. I mean, Wyatt Earp.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay, I wasn't too sure.
I've watched Tombstone.
Okay, well, I asked you before if you wanted a devil dog because you were hungry. You said, what's that?
A devil dog's a Marine.
No, a devil dog is a cake.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that.
New Yorkers love devil dogs.
I haven't been to New York.
Ring-dings? You know what a ring-ding is?
I've heard of ring-dings. I've never actually seen one.
So ring-dings. Okay.
I've heard of a ding-dong.
Devil dogs I always have. That used to be, my daughter used to call that daddy's food. Daddy food when she was little. But, yeah, these were, people look at this and they said, oh, who held this before you? It's like when you hold ancients. Did Julius Caesar hold this? Did Jesus hold this? The times of the turn of, between the first century and second century. Who held these things?
Right. The mystique?
That's what it is.
Yes.
It's definitely a mystique.
I
think this is kind of cool. I think this is so cool. When it's shrunk on a totally different
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's so awesome.
And that's why I kept it. I've had it for years.
It's such a big mistake.
But you see, that's the kind of stuff that is not as important to me, and somebody else can enjoy it. That'll work. That'll work.
All right, so let's talk about more favorite coins of yours. What other kind of coins do you really, really enjoy? We're talking about U.S. coins. How about just U.S.?
I like $10 Indians.
Okay.
The gold Indians.
Oh, yeah.
I like $3 gold pieces.
Yeah.
Those are two of my favorite gold coins. The $3 golds, because they're so rare. All of them are hard to find. I mean, they all start at $600 or $700, even in low grades. $10 Indians, because I think it's absolutely a beautiful coin.
Absolutely beautiful.
Just a beautiful, beautiful coin.
So those are your favorite gold, and I agree, those are beautiful, beautiful
And
pieces.
I like the old bust coins. And I appreciate, as I said, I've had some of these foreign coins that normally I wouldn't have sold. I finally sold the, somebody came in off the street and bought the Malta, the Order of Malta.
Okay.
The 1798 coin. I think that was so cool. I think this is cool. This is, many people have heard of the Central America. Well, Central America wasn't all U.S. coins. I mean, that came from the wreck of the Central America, which was in 1857.
It's pretty. Very pretty.
And they say that the wreck of this created the panic of 57 because it was coming here with gold to shore up the banks in New York. And then not too far after that, you had the Civil War. They say it led to the Civil War.
It's fantastic.
I mean, history is connected to money.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. Speaking of history and money, here's a couple of other pieces I have that are interesting. Now, this one I found in one of the books. I think I've told this story before. I was reading a book called Gotham, The History of New York. It's a big, thick book. I can read history books. And in there it mentions how they had gas line put on Broadway in order for the 4th of July to put in, and they had to pay the bill to the lighting company, $515. This is a museum piece, I think. I mean, this was the piping and the poles and stuff they put in to light Broadway with gas.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And that's a check. A friend of mine, I'm talking, I've had that probably 30 years. A friend of mine's knew a guy who was cleaning the attic at City Hall, and they were just tossing everything. And that came out of there.
That's fantastic.
And look at this. Here's Bank of New York. This is a check for $10,000. Do you know how much $10,000 was in 1880?
Well, I wish I had 10,000 right
Here's
now.
$500 paid to light Broadway. This was 50 years earlier, but it's 1/20th of this amount of money. Wow. $10,000.
Bank of New York.
Now, what did that come out of?
That's crazy, huh?
You know, what did that pay for? Here's another one.
Oh.
This one is probably just a high denomination.
Oh. For deposit. What is that name?
Well, this came out of the estate of this person.
Is that like Lewis? Lewis something?
Lewis P. You can read the front better. The front says Lewis P. Rothwagner.
Oh.
We didn't say Lewis Rothschild. That would be pretty cool.
The Rothschilds.
Yeah.
No.
That would be pretty cool.
I mean, spending that kind of money, you could expect it to be them. Old checks, huh?
A
lot of people collect checks now. That's a big collection, is it not?
I think this is the coolest one.
The
1828.
Broadway. That's awesome. That is so cool. $779. That's going to be a lost art pretty soon, don't you think? Writing checks?
Yeah, well, everything is good. Well, that's what you want. That's what the world wants. We talked about it last time when I talked to you about the Canadian money, and Nathan was talking to a friend of his up in Canada, and you don't see a lot of people. I get a lot of them in here. You'll get a certain generation will come in, and they're buying $2 worth of supplies, and they want to give you a credit card. You don't have $2 in your pocket?
Nobody does.
A lot of people. My brother doesn't. My brother told me years ago he never carries money. I don't know.
I might not either. Hold on a second.
I don't know.
Let me see right now, because now we're talking about it. Let me see how much money I got in my wallet. I might have. You know what? I do have some cash. Oh my goodness, guy.
Found money.
I got $3 to my name.
$3
$3.
cash.
What can I spend it on here?
Well, I'll bet you in 1828 that'd have bought you a room and a good dinner.
$3?
Then some. Oh hell yeah.
Really?
People were asking me why the quarter. I remember reading somewhere where quarters are so worn out and why of it, because a quarter in the 1890s, turn of the century, a quarter was the price of a hotel room with breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Per day.
Wow.
So $3 you could probably, I'll bet you for $1.50 you can get a hotel room for a week.
Round of
and
drinks.
It probably came with breakfast.
And some company?
Well, I don't know about the company quote. I got one of those. Actually, I got one of those over here. Well, maybe you got to be careful who's looking at that.
Uh-oh.
This one says, no, you don't want to see that side. This says $3 all night.
$3 all night. The other side's kind of
That came out of probably the territories, Colorado, that area, place west of the Mississippi. That's probably 1880s.
All night, $3. Well, everybody's going to be, oh boy. Oh, the other side. All right, I'm going to show it off anyways. It's just a thing, right? Poke of gold saloon. Wow. Yikes. Interesting.
This is called exnomia. That's when
if I didn't show that side off, people would have been flipping out.
Now, it's like he said to show that side, not me. It's exnomia. That's where you have buffalo, the carved nickels, you have your hobo nickels, you have your Civil War tokens. All of that is exnomia. That's things related to coins, but not legal tender per se.
Yeah.
You could use Civil War tokens, of course, but they weren't, they were out there with everything else.
Well, listen, I heard your favorite coin. Do you want to hear what I'm on?
Yeah, go ahead.
You have it right over here. Is your Walking Liberty $50 is probably my favorite coin.
I've got to agree with you. And Walking Liberty in proof.
Can we see some of these?
Is a beautiful coin.
I don't have a proof yet.
Yeah, well, I have plenty of proofs.
But that's your personal stuff, huh?
Yeah. I probably got 15 of them. You never see them. Let me tell you. Certain things never come in the store. You never see Walker proofs. Very few bust dollars. If bust halves come in, they're 1831, 1833, 1826. They're not the early busts, and they're certainly not the early ones like, 1801, 1802, which are better bust halves. You just don't see them, especially the dollars. I like the big dollars.
Let me see these Walking Liberties. Like, even in like low grade to me, still has some sort of just mystique that we talked about.
Some
that
are just spectacular.
Spectacular. They are awesome. When you start getting the nice grade, can I touch one of these?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, they're into plastic.
I just want to make sure it's okay. Little etiquette,
Here's another coin of mine I pulled out.
So beautiful. I mean, everybody knows what these look like, but I still want to show them off.
5,500 made.
5,500 made. Well, that's a quarter. I got some of these in my car, don't I?
That's a 1937 proof.
Oh boy. Look at that.
I have the half and a 66.
1937 proof 66 too. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a coin that like nobody has.
Here's another one I had pulled out. I'm not attached to them. This is a coin I've had quite a long time.
So these are for sale too.
Yeah, that's one of the keys to the standing quarters.
So we had the 1916.
You've got the 8/7, which is more of a variety than a have to have. And then you get the 23S and the 21. Those are the big three, really, the big four of the standing quarters.
This is a great condition one too. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
a nice AU.
Another one.
Got
of my
a little
coins.
toning in it, but that just comes with the coin. When you've been around for 100 years, you get a little toning also. Jesse has a mask on, just so you know.
Yeah, I got a mask on, and you got your shot, right? So
yeah, I got my first shot.
How'd you feel after that shot? You felt okay?
I had a reaction 23 hours later. My arm still hurts.
Really?
Yeah, it's right in here now. That was 20 days ago, 18 days ago. But exactly 23 hours later, I started getting shivers. I had the shakes, and I had a low-grade fever, like 99.8. which for me, my normal temperature is 97.3. But yeah, my temperature went. But it was only for a few hours. And I just sat in the chair watching Grimm and cheered me up. But
no more Twilight for you?
No, I never was a big Twilight fan.
Well, you watched it 3 times each video, you said, or something?
When I was in the hospital, what I should have did, and I thought about it later, I don't even know where it is, but I have one of those little portable DVD players. I just went out, I bet you can buy one now. I remember when I first opened my store, I'm here 13 years, Monday, March 1st is when I opened next door. But right here, within 30 feet of this building, I've been here 13 years. And when I opened up, it was really quiet. And my wife bought me a DVD player. And I would sit watching movies, And I should have brought that in. I should have had them bring that up to me with some DVDs. And I could have watched them my own time without the 6 minutes in commercials.
Yeah.
I mean, your commercials are running neck and neck with video time.
Yeah.
It's just getting to be, insane.
Favorite movie of all time, go.
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind. All right.
Oh, now I'm bad. I know. Okay. But anyway, I just thought it was a great movie. I love the cliches. Rhett Butler was pretty cool. He had a lot of trouble trying to keep Carol Lombard off the set because she did not trust Vivian Leigh. Because Vivian Leigh was a notorious, not womanizer, but she liked her men.
Oh.
That's what I heard. I can't tell you who told me. But
wasn't her, was it? Jeez.
But she was keeping an eye on her man.
Okay.
And that's part of the story. But yeah, Gone with the Wind was a cool book. Scarlet was good, the sequel to it, but that's not an official sequel.
Right on.
But it was a different time, and it was the times they lived in. And as I said, that goes back to when you look at the politics of the world, there's always things you frown upon. It's just crazy stuff, crazy times. But remember, the rest of the world is watching us.
Yes.
The rest of the world is watching us. The rest of the world. And the Chinese, they're dancing in the streets.
Dancing.
They are absolutely dancing in the streets. Whatever your party is, you got to understand common sense. And you got to have, when you look at the threats to your country, and the word nationalism just means patriotism. You can politically correct, put other words in front of it, but that's patriotism, is when you believe in nationalism. I'm sure the Chinese, when they do things, don't worry about the Koreans, how it's going to affect them. They look out for themselves. That's just the way the world has to be. That's the reason I like the last president. He might have not been perfect, but his mind was in the right place.
Yeah.
And he saw where this country was going, and he put a stop to the Chinese. He put them in their place. And they were not happy. But as soon as the new president came in, we have a monarch. Mr. Magoo is a monarch.
It's plain and simple.
There, I said it.
Coin guy, you're a good patriot, I think.
Yeah, I try to be. I try to be just a realist when you look at what's going on. And I hate to go back to it, but it always seems to come up. But it is what it is. I mean, you still got to worry about the way the country's being run. As I said, you look at what's in the future. As once again, it goes back to confidence in your country and confidence in your currency. And you've got the machines running day and night now. I jump around a little bit. By the way, Canadians haven't had pennies since 2012.
Oh, really?
And they're getting by fine without it.
Yeah, we
How much is a penny cost now to make?
Yeah, right. Well, now they're
3
using
cents?
zinc and all. Are they changing zinc too? They're trying to change them again, I think.
The price of zinc has gone stupid also.
Yeah.
Was it going to cost a nickel to make a penny one day?
Probably. So what's the point of that, right?
I'm a coin collector. I'm not necessarily a copper person, but there's enough wheat pennies to play with. There comes a point when you just stop making pennies.
Yeah.
I mean, the bill was before Congress for 2 years, and it never went anywhere.
Yeah, it'd be smarter to get rid of it.
It's just, it gets to be crazy when you're spending 3 cents to make a penny. And soon it's going to be a nickel.
Yeah. Well, listen, since the whole world is watching, I want to show them how we do coins real quick. I want to show them some of my old dollar coins right here, some of our stuff. Can we show them some of those?
Sure.
Maybe some Morgan dollars. You got trade dollars down there too, right?
Yeah.
And peace dollars.
This is the last days of the Senior Voice for this month. Let me see what they put in here.
Are you in there?
Oh, look, here's my article about love tokens.
Wow.
They run it every February.
People are going to be able to see it now for free. Continued on page 8, so if they really want to see what happens.
Small article on page 8. Not that big a deal.
Look at you. Very cool.
You know, when I was teaching in the schools, when I was doing the Great American Teaching,
Oh, you got an advertisement there, too.
which they didn't call me this year. I wonder why. Oh, I know the school was closed.
Sorry. I was
That's
just...
okay. But I would tell the kids about this. And whenever I would get the fan mail, and I'm talking hundreds of letters here.
Hundreds.
Hundreds.
Wow, big deal.
The little girls, well, the young ladies, they loved the story about the love tokens. The romanticism of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I said to the wife, you want a 1-carat diamond or a dime with your initial on it, I know how that was going to go.
You think she would take the dime with initial on it?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? I know what my wife would take. And it wouldn't be the dime. These are really pretty. This is a nice one too, right here. What's that one? Can I get that one out of there?
Sure.
These things are a pain. Okay. 1888. Beautiful girl right there. That's a lot of people's favorite coin. The
They're
Morgan
Morgans
dollar.
and high grades of beauties. And the prices now, I mean, piece dollars are $29 a piece. Morgans are $29 a piece. I mean, that's like spotting 8 or 9, but that's where the market is. What can I tell you?
I love them, but you know one thing that frustrates me about the Morgan dollar is when you flip it, this darn eagle is crooked.
Yeah.
I wish they could have just straightened that up.
They would not. That's the way it was. I like the Morgan dollars because they have a lot of, once again, it's the same story about how many bar tops was this on?
So many.
Who
so
held
history.
this?
Yeah.
Doc Holliday, the Clantons, whoever it may have been.
Listen, if you guys need Morgan dollars, this is the place to go right here. Because these are some nice ones.
Here's a run of CCs. There's a lot of CCs. We don't usually have this many CCs.
Carson City action.
Yeah, it's an
What
89.
are they going to try to do? They're going to try to open the Carson City Mint again so they can make these Morgan dollars again over there?
Is that what you're saying?
I think something like that, yeah. Somebody on the comments can probably go ahead and correct me or, tell me exactly what's going on. But I think something to do with that. They're going to open the Carson City Mint, make those Morgan dollars over there. Potentially. It's a thought. That'd be cool, right?
That would be cool. I like that.
The only problem is they're going to make them in 999 silver instead of 90%.
They're supposed to be, I think later this year, they're supposed to be coming out with, this was the transition year 100 years ago between the 21 piece dollar and the 21 Morgan. And I don't even think I have them. All my 21s are gone. Yeah. It's interesting how things go through different cycles. There was a time when I'd have 10 21 piece dollars. I can't keep them in the store now. People collect the piece dollars is it's a short series. There's only 24 coins. So, once you get past the 28, the 28 almost costs you as much as half the rest of it.
I think it's a very neat set because it is very limited.
In high grades, it's pretty.
The later ones are very low mintage. I think it's really underestimated. You guys want to see something really cool? Watch this. Coin Guy, what's the key dates of the piece dollar set?
The 28, the 21. And then when you get to the higher grades, the 34S, the 28S, believe it or not, passes to 28 in the high grades. It's like $10,000 in a 5 or something like that.
That's the man right there. He knows his coins.
I mean, it just goes right through the roof. That's one of my superpowers. Where I just know a lot of numbers. But you know what I've been doing? I've been grading coins for 50 years. And you look at the red book enough times and enough rainy days, and you actually can see the numbers. And I get a woman called me today, and she's got an Indian head penny, and what is this worth? And I said, well, I sell them for about 80 cents. 80 cents? It's $1,000. I said, what are you looking at? Where did you see this? And I saw it on the site. I said, well, you got it. Is there an Indian head 1901 that could be worth 1,000? Yeah, maybe a proof 66. But is that the coin you have? What's the detail? Well, I can just about make out the Liberty. Well, now you got a VG to find. The coin's worth $1. And then they think you're a crook or they don't want to believe you because they go on YouTube and they go all the way to the left side and they look for the most expensive coin in the world for that type. And I understand that. And I asked the woman, I said, bring him in. I'll give you a free appraisal. Do you grade it there? I said, I'll give you a verbal grade. I don't have a machine to certify it. And by the way, I've got a couple of coins supposed to be coming back from ICG who did not call me back, and I've called them twice to find out if they were ready.
Come on, guys.
One of my clients bought a roll of 21 Eagles off of me when you could get them from me about a month ago. And he found two Eagles with large grease-filled dies.
Really?
So in the middle of each one on the reverse is an area about the size of a quarter that is blurry and you can't make out the detail well. Those are grease-filled dies. I thought that was pretty cool.
I got to look at mine now.
21s. Well, we brought them in, and then I got a phone call from ICG, and they asked for permission to put it on your website. And put it on their website. I guess they wanted to show it off.
Wow.
And I said, sure you can. Just make sure you put Coin Guy under it. It's not my coins. They belong to a friend of mine who I'm going to send in for it. And I got somebody who's already interested in them, actually.
So already, would you call that an error or variety?
Oh, it's an error. It's not a variety.
Error coin.
It's an error.
The 1921.
The 1921 Silver Eagle.
Wow.
Yeah. And two of them. They were back-to-back in a row.
Yeah, I've got a few of them already. I decided to start grabbing them early, but yeah, I got to look at the back of them. That's neat.
I was talking to a colleague who's looking to buy. Everybody's calling me today looking to buy silver. He's getting $40 a piece for the 21s.
Whew.
That's pretty steep. I mean, that's spotting 50%.
Well, I thought I overpaid because they were new, but man, that's, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what it's going to come to. That's definitely what's going to come to.
It becomes the old adage about, supply and demand. And that's exactly what's happening. I get a lot of phone calls. As I said before, only a certain percentage of people who have the discretionary money are buying it, but I think those numbers have doubled. I had people calling me, telling me that they're fearful, that they're afraid, and they're buying gold, they're buying silver, but it's just not, it's not becoming available. It is what it is, I don't know. I don't know where it's gonna. You want that?
You let me have that?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely.
$1. No.
Jeez.
You got $3 in your pocket. I know it.
I do have $3. Listen, if somebody came in for $3, what do you got? Like this little make a deal band?
Oh yeah, we got the let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal, huh?
We got here's those pennies there.
Those are nice.
I had two kids in here the other day. Little girl was 7 and the boy was 8, and the boy was a coin collector. And he was zipping around the place. He got a few extra things. He was pretty cool.
How much is this bag?
Different prices. And I got stuff like this. I got a ton of this. I'm shipping a whole bunch of stuff out today. Somebody ordered a bunch of stuff from Colorado from me, and he. What
do you got for $3 in here?
What do I got for $3 in here?
Give me something for $3. What's this right here? This little proof set. It says $3.50. Can we make a deal?
Sure, you can have that for $3.
All right, here. This is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you $3 because I do have it. Here's $3, and then tomorrow when you open back up, because you're kind of closed right now, give that to the first person that comes in.
Sure.
Can we do
I'll
that?
tell them it's from you.
You don't have to do that. You can say it's from you, but
okay.
Just for fun.
You got it.
Little gift. Thanks for coming into the store. Whether they buy anything or not, that's theirs.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
All right. Oh man, it's been fun, guy.
It's always fun.
I appreciate you letting us come by the shop and look at coins.
Well, I like to share my hobby, sometimes my politics, but somebody has to say it. And it's, as I've said before, the history of a country is linked to its coins. And unfortunately, we're in, what is that old Chinese curse? May you live in interesting times?
Yeah, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I know people that, all ages, and they said they've never seen anything like what we're going through.
I get a lot, maybe it's just I know that there are people out there who are upset with some things I say. Well, I know how you feel about that too. You don't have to watch me, but 98% of the people who come in here bring up the topic and they feel as I do.
Yeah.
A lot of this country is not very happy, and they control, certain groups control the media, and I have my opinion about them too. It's interesting about the governor of New York, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Some news stations want to talk about what's going on, some don't.
So it's funny how you're supposed to report the news. I talked to my sister in New York, and I mentioned, what's happened to Como. She goes, I hadn't heard. You live in New York.
Yeah, they're keeping
You
it
get the New
quiet.
York papers, you only watch certain channels.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to hear anything. It's funny how, my own governor, and I'm in Florida, they want to put restrictions on people flying into Florida. Meanwhile, the southern border is going to be wide open. There's a 10-foot fence with barbed wire around the White House, and they want to take down the wall at the southern border. Once again, I feel sorry for a lot of the world.
Yep.
But you can't kill the host by letting in 400 million people.
Right. And to clarify, DeSantis is against all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's,
yeah.
He's the man when it comes to
No,
trying to
he's going to
protect
be
us.
running for president.
Yeah.
He'll run for president.
I hope he
in the next
doesn't,
4
just
years.
because I like him to stay right here.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
But that's a wrap. And
Well, Guy, listen.
wish everybody a happy Easter.
Oh, yeah, Easter's coming up. All the craziness in the world, you just forget about holidays that exist,
You can't get together for anything.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's a
happy
shame.
Easter.
How are we going to collect eggs? How are we going to do that?
Yeah, I miss some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was sick at Christmas time. I'd come back December 2nd out of the hospital, and I was still on full oxygen during Christmas, and it was very, very small for us, not the usual wild stuff. I got through Halloween, which is one of my favorite, holidays.
Yeah, we know that.
But I don't know where it's all
I think
headed.
you still have Halloween decorations up, don't you?
Do I?
Look at, what is that thing up there? That owl.
The owl. Owl is my totem.
Isn't that a Halloween thing?
It's on Halloween. Wait a minute. Look.
What?
What's that?
What is that kind of animal?
It's an owl.
Some kind of fox?
It's an owl. But that's always been, since I was a little kid, I always drew owls. Must have been a totem of mine in a past life.
You love owls.
But,
I had no idea.
Yeah, I always like owls. There's owls all over. There's all the owls up over there, too.
Interesting.
I've always liked owls.
We've seen them. We know.
But, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, with the school kids, I think it's absolutely scary. How many of you're worried about the young people getting it, but I'm afraid of how many people are being mentally damaged. Once again, certain countries are watching this thinking, well, the whole country has lost 1 year of education.
Yeah.
My grandchildren are in Christian academies and such, so they get an education.
Yeah.
Certain schools are shut down. A group of people that run the schools who get paid damn good money in the North, nobody has to teach.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't be a school teacher. I understand that, but then again, I was a professional cook, and a lot of people can't work with raw chickens. That's what you do. I mean, that's what you pick to do, and that's great. But I think you need to be out there educating these children.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's a sin, absolutely a sin, that these children are not being educated. How many of them are committing suicide? How many have mental problems because of this?
Yep.
I think it's totally scary, just aggravating.
It's terrible.
And, anyway.
Well, Guy, listen.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Listen, you have feelings. You have a voice. You're allowed to say your opinion. That's what this country is founded on, is freedom of speech. So I got no problem with that. If people do, like you said, they can go somewhere else. But, I never tell them to stifle or anything like that. I let them say what they got to say. And I may argue with them a little bit.
Even though they're wrong.
That's my freedom, yeah, even though they're wrong. But anyways, listen, I appreciate you letting me come to the shop and look around and having everybody watch you. I'm sure they all appreciate it. They like seeing you.
I get a lot of phone calls. Let me tell you, once again, I want to thank all those people who wish me well. Glad to see me up on my feet. I got postcards from all over the country, thousands of well-wishing, emails and all those things. And thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Guy.
I love what I do.
Let's do it again sometime.
God bless America.
God bless America. Bye-bye.
Bye.